Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This video is brought to you by First Detachment Nutrition. Battle tested, expert formulated. Use discount code AB10 at checkout for 10% off. What's up, everybody?
Howdy.
What's up?
Hello.
Hello, bro.
What's new other than
I'm having
me getting a
technical issues.
You got a whole new setup going.
Well, my ring light died, so I was trying to find better light, and it just yeah. So
I bought all new equipment, man. I spent way
it's
too
what
much
it is
money
today.
I'm like, oh, I want that one, that camera, the nice one. So I dropped like 10 grand on all new equipment for my setup here.
I mean, it looks like she's lit like she's giving a confessional in like a film noir.
Yeah,
I know.
exactly.
Looks good.
Yeah. This basic instinct. I'm waiting for the leg cross scene.
Like you're gonna lean into the camera. Like,
I'm wearing leggings. There'll be no showing of anything.
It's that's more than enough.
the dame
I'll have
walked
to
into
sub
my
in
office. Legs up to her neck.
There you go. So what's
Steve,
new?
what were the highlights of
Yes.
Dubai? I want to know, man. I
got a lot of
go
light.
there very soon.
All right, yeah. The highlights. Well, first day we just arrived. We went to Up El Wahad. It's like a Lebanese place right next to the Dubai Fountain. It's just like the mandatory place to visit. You know, high ranking, good Lebanese food, good service, but it's way too fucking hot to sit outside. I thought I would be able to handle it because I was lean,
Right.
but I couldn't. You walk outside for 1 minute and you're soaked. So
Worse than
I walked-
Thailand.
Dude, it's way worse.
Wow.
It's
That's
way worse. And then in the evening, the humidity climbs. So in the evening, the humidity is maybe 78% or something, 80%. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. It's brutal. So I did everything indoors. And all you can do indoors is shopping, eating, and going to the gym. So that's all we did.
Well, that
That's all
sounds
we
perfect
did.
to me. That's my kind of
Yeah,
vacation.
no, it was great. Yeah, that's why it was great. So I think the highlight was eating at Atmosphere. That's at the 122nd floor in the Burj Khalifa. I always wanted to eat there, but I skipped over it because it's so expensive. And now, now I'm like, you know what, fuck it, let's just do it. But I spent the value of a 20-minute consultation there. So when you look at
Justin,
it that way, it's okay.
Do you have a fishnet shirt on?
Yeah, I'm sponsored
Oh, yeah.
by Bike. Well, just
Nice. Is it 1986 again?
I love
Yeah,
it.
4,
I can get behind this.
84 is the peak of America.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
You gotta
85. That's when Rocky defeated communism.
You got your fanny pack also?
No, but I do got some tube socks.
Hey, Chase.
Sorry.
Chase.
Sorry. I'm
Daddy
on my
daycare.
phone. I'm not used to this.
You're daddy duty right now?
I know. Yeah, she's chilling, hanging out. Anyway,
That's crazy.
That's
Good
awesome,
stuff,
man.
she's chill
I miss-
for the moment, so we'll see how long this lasts.
I miss my kids being little, but I don't miss diapers, and I don't miss them crying all the time.
Yeah.
Oh man, the poop
She's
volume
pretty
to
good.
body mass ratio for babies is outrageous.
Well, her head is in like the 95th percentile. She's got a, big brain.
Where does she get that from? I don't know. She's beautiful.
I'm getting an echo from somebody's end. Is it yours, Chase, or maybe
Is it
Justin?
me? Is it my phone? It might be my phone.
I saw a picture of your baby up the other day, Chase, and I'm like, oh my god, that is Chase's clone. She's definitely got your head, man.
I've got some headphones I can put in if it's me.
I don't hear it now. But yeah, that baby is definitely yours. Babies now it's totally opposite, man. I just like my kids don't even sometimes know I exist. I didn't see my son for like an entire week this week.
Oh yeah, you'll forget they're home. They'll go to visit a friend or something, come back home, be home for 2 days, and you won't even know it. Be like, well, I thought you were at your friend's house. They're like, that was Saturday.
I got up early the other morning to do some cardio. I got up like at 7, and I heard a knock on the door, and it was Uber Eats, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Delivering food, and my son rolls out of his room, comes down, and his bags under his eyes had bags, and I'm like, "What are you doing up early?" And he's like, "What time is it?"
Are you legendary on Call of Duty yet?
He pulled a fucking all-nighter, man. It looked like he'd just been through like 3 rounds of a street fight, man, and just like
I pulled an
stains on his.
You're not allowed to talk about Fight Club, so that could be.
Yeah, that's it. He's out fighting crime like Spider-Man.
Stains on his clothes. He smelled like a musty goat. He rolls down.
Smells like a basement.
When you open their bedroom door, are they old enough yet? When you open the bedroom door, it smells like weed, or they're not of that?
No, not yet. It just smells like boy. And fast food.
Unshowered boy.
Like the petting zoo.
Yeah. Like a greasy goat.
I'm such a bad parent too because I just work all the time. I just don't have fucking time to cook. So I gave my kids access to the Uber Eats account, so they just order food whenever they want.
We do. We have Uber Eats, but it's not as good as Grubhub here. But I have Grubhub Plus, and every once in a while they'll send you a notification of all the savings you've had or the rewards you get. And there's no more depressing statement than seeing the amount of money that you've saved by spending an obscene amount of money on ordering food.
Yeah. There are some months where
$6,000. What does that mean? I spent.
I think sometimes my Uber Eats spends exceeds my mortgage payment.
My Grubhub guy's name is Sher Khan. He picks up my order all the time. One night, I didn't order anything, and some car pulls in the driveway, and our house alarm or something went off earlier for some reason, like a bird flew into the window or something. And so it's kind of like, this is just before that. And then this random car pulls up. So I go out in the driveway, like all storming out, all mad, like what's going on? Someone trying to break in my house. It was Sarah Khan. He brought a friend over to show him our house. I was like,
these people order $10,000 a month.
You're a VIP now.
Yeah, they're the best tippers or the worst tippers.
I tip good. I feel bad if someone's driving, because we live out in the boonies. We live out past every city, 15 minutes to past the nearest Walmart.
Gotta
So
make it
anyone that
worth
comes
their
out here,
while.
I feel bad. So I give them a good tip.
That's cool.
7%.
I live in suburban area.
I do 25.
I shit you not, my son ordered Chick-fil-A, which is about 500 yards from my house. I could see it out the window. I'm like, dude, walk your ass down there and get it. Seriously. He's like, Dad, it's hot out. I'm the worst bodybuilding parent. Like my kids, their diet's shit. They don't work out. At least my daughter played sports. But my son had started to show some interest in the gym. He came with Colin will tell you, he's like, Dad, I think I want to start working out. And he came one time and his ego, he was just like, he kept doing he was trying to keep up with us, doing all the sets. And I'm like, dude, you might want to take it a little slow. I think you're probably going to be sore. And the next morning he gets up, I see him walking down doing one of these numbers, moving the arm around. I'm like, are you sore? And he's like, no, everything's fine. That was the last time he came to the gym.
When they walk backwards, like your left foot goes forward, your right arm goes back. But when people are so sore, it looks like they're walking like the wrong way.
He has not been to the gym since. That was 2 months ago, Colin?
Yeah, at least.
He's still recovering.
Poor guy. DOMS for 2 months.
I'll get him in there at some point. He's 13 now, so it's about the perfect time to start.
Yeah.
He's got to balance his video game time with his gym time. I know what that's like.
Yeah, the 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. slot is open, I think. So.
Oh man,
that's when he gets his Uber Eats breakfast.
He's working third shift right now. He's on Thailand time.
Third shift.
I remember that shift. That's why I moved here.
Kids, I wish I had that sort of disposable time where you can just fuck off and play video games.
Man. Yeah, you remember when you were a kid and you'd like take there'd be a hole in every desk from some kid taking a paper clip for 47 hours in a circle to a ground. The things you used to do, you had so much free time. The doodles you'd make, like I haven't been bored in, I don't know, 16 years. Back then, it was like boredom all day, just finding random things to pass the time.
Just got to put the phone down sometimes, and then free time will manifest.
Yeah, that's what I have too many hobbies though. So as soon as I do that, I'm getting obsessed with some stupid thing that I'll never get good at.
Yeah. I did the same thing. I'm the jack of all trades, master of none. People are like, "How do you know so much stuff?" And I'm like, "It's called ADHD."
Yeah, I'm an addict. I just get addicted to every stupid little thing.
This happened to me recently with office chairs because I'm trying to build like a YouTube studio for me, like a little small one. And I was like, well, I might as well get a really good chair because I'm gonna be sitting in it forever. Like 12 hours later, I'm still looking at which office chair is best, and I'm looking at like ranges of $1,000, $2,000 office chairs. I'm like, dude,
I can save you some trouble. Do not get the nice, soft, cushy leather chair,
right?
Because I did that. Bought the really nice, expensive one. It was like a Wall Street 1986 Michael Douglas. Lazy boy roller chair. I sat down, I started working. About 3 hours in, I realized that I'm swimming in my own sweat on the chair. I had to get rid of it. I couldn't. It was terrible. It was like wearing a plastic bag.
Yeah, you got to get one of those air-on chairs. I sweat. Yeah, I do the same. Although I've got the executive chair here, but yeah, I got the back sweat going.
I got the
what's up, Kurt?
Here on the side.
Ooh, nice fan.
It'd be cool.
I was
Steve.
I was laughing. I was looking for maybe to build a studio at my house. I was same thing, cold, and I spent way too much time like researching lighting and looking at backdrops and different things to put in the background. And I was stumbled into Steve's cubes in the back. I'm like, oh, I know those.
Yeah. AliExpress, baby, $2 a pop.
I'm like, I can't look like Steve. I got to do something different.
There's so many people who use these panels, man. It's
they're all over Amazon. I have my plan is there's these panels. I'm getting like soundproof panels, but they're almost like they look like wooden planks.
I look at those too, man.
And stuff. Yeah. It's all the same shit on Amazon, It's like everyone uses the same stuff.
Well, it's all who gets the good engagement and reviews early on and gets that first page slot. Then you're there for life.
Yep. It's crazy. And most of the reviews are fake even. So it's like,
yeah. This product are good.
I'm going to decorate my background with just Ceristin boxes.
That would be good. Yeah. All the pharmaceuticals with used in the background.
You should make it like an old alchemy lab. Just glass bottles filled with random stuff behind you. That'd be awesome.
Stuff brewing.
I don't even want to think about what I spent on my contest prep cycle.
Oh yeah.
It was. I probably could have put one of my kids through college for a year.
Well, you got more out of this than they got out of college.
It's true.
Probably.
So true.
Yeah. So Paul, did all the sponsorships roll in after you got your pro card?
Yeah, an easy street now, right?
Somebody asked me.
Well, have you put IFBB Pro in your Instagram name yet?
No, I just put it in.
That's why.
I just can't bring myself to do it. I put it underneath, like in the.
You're gonna do it. It's one of those things everyone kind of makes fun of, but the second you turn pro, you're like, "Fuck it, I'm doing it." Everyone's gonna know.
Nobody can find you anymore because the first 4 letters or the first 7 letters is the same as everybody else.
Yeah.
Your search, and then you get a list of like 5,000 people on Instagram because everybody has the same username now.
We had a dude roll into my gym. It's like 100 degrees outside. And he had his IFBB jacket on, and somebody asked me, "Is like, why is that guy doing that? Like it's 100 degrees out. We all know you're a pro." I'm like, man, I might have to do that myself.
You should get an IFBB Pro mesh shirt.
It's still weird thinking that I won. It's so surreal.
Enjoy it, man. You earned it. You worked so hard for it. So,
how has it been being on the podcast circuit? You've been on Think Big. You were with
Mark
Lobliner.
I got some other stuff coming up too. Yeah, it's like saying it's like Groundhog Day. I go on and say the same things over and over and over again, but everybody wants to know how much gear I took.
You know, do the old 80s version where he's like, once you see a deca every 3 weeks, and then an ampule of Winstrol every 17 days.
Those guys are so full of shit.
Yeah, I'm doing a video essay on Luke Sandow, and he looks at a lot of different bodybuilders, and specifically that brought me to Dorian Yates, and just listening to what he used to say about his cycles is just kind of like, I don't know, man. That doesn't sound so real.
Did you see like Dorian
what little Luke was talking? Luke was honest about his.
You trained Luke, right?
Yeah, when he turned pro. Yeah, so I know what he used to turn pro. It was the same as everybody. It's the same as everybody.
There's no different. I'm curious. One quick question for everybody: what happened to Turinabol? Why is it like not widely used? And it seems to be something
super toxic,
wildly effective.
It'll come back around.
I can give you like the lab stuff you want. They analyzed all the people in Germany that used it, and there were like 14,000 deaths from it. Jeez, I wouldn't touch that crap with a 10-foot pole.
It goes in cycles too. It was huge like 2004, 2005 when was it British Dragon Labs was really pushing it. There was like a year or two where everyone was raving about it, and I feel like maybe 4 years ago, I was seeing it all again. It's like every 10 years or so, it comes through. All it takes is one person who's got a platform and a podcast to say, yeah, I started oral T-ball, made best gains of my life the last 3 weeks. And then everyone's going to want to jump on it and try it again until they realize that they were lying.
Yeah. Maybe it's because everybody prefers Anavar nowadays, and everybody has shifted to Anavar. I think that's it. Yeah. It's better in every way anyway.
Anavar is better in every way.
Yeah.
So why waste your time with Turinabol? Unless you
like,
can't get Anavar, then I would use Turinabol. But I have access to Anavar, so I still have all the pharmaceutical Anavar left in Thailand.
I do like Anavar.
But out of stock. Okay, give me the rest of the stock.
That 200 milligrams of Winstrol going in the last part of the show, that was the ticket.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's I mean, I've used Halo in the past, and the Winstrol it seemed to be much more effective, much more pronounced.
Yeah, I like Halo too, but yeah, it was that's the AJ approach, but it was just the last 10 days. It wasn't anything crazy.
That was mine, Paul. That was mine too.
Yeah. Kurt helped me with the drugs at the end. But yeah, I mean, it was just I dropped all the injectables about 10 days out, and then went to just 200 milligrams of. I had some Anadrol on deck in case I flattened out. I kind of was curious if I would have run it at finals, what I would have looked like, but I don't know. I don't know if it would have made much of a difference.
Yeah, you were because you were pretty watery the night before after being at the show all day.
Yeah.
So I think if you would have pushed Anadrol, I don't know if your blood volume was already pretty high. Not that the Anadrol can affect blood volume that much that quickly, but I thought you nailed it perfectly.
Yeah, it was. I was definitely. I thought I looked my best 2 weeks out. It was the day of the show. I don't know. I was a little. I was a little flat, but I mean, it was good enough.
Well, yeah, flat and bone dry almost always beats full. I mean, full looks great in the gym, but it's really hard to be full and bone dry.
Yeah, I think I might do the pro show on 9/1. I'm seriously thinking about it. I don't know. I'm doing a short little vacation. I'll be back Wednesday. I'll see how fat I am when I get back. But I actually lost weight since the show. I was down.
Yeah, just maybe reach out to Dr. Dean. I met him at Dubai because he was there also for a seminar with one of the anti-aging clinics that he works with. And of course, he arrived a little bit watery. I mean, it was a long flight from the UK to Dubai, but then he tightened up significantly. I think he's got a show in 2 weeks. Like me and Kurt will record Anabolic Roundtable episode 3 next week on Wednesday. And then he'll be like, 10 days out or something?
Yep.
Yeah, but he improved a lot since he went to Dubai. So maybe you can ask him what he did. So you don't have to wait until the podcast drops because he wanted to discuss that on the podcast.
He nails his conditioning. He looks great.
He looks great. Super nice guy in person also. Yeah, we had a workout together. So that was a lot of fun. We were very slow on the workout because we're mostly just cracking jokes. But it was good to finally meet him. I mean, I've known the guy for years now, 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
I love the Anabolic Roundtable show too. That's fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's a great show.
Yeah, the editing is a nightmare afterwards because we discuss so many studies, and then I go back and watch the entire thing, and then I'm like, oh, this study, or Dean talked about this study, let's overlay it. And then Kurt talked about this study, I'll overlay it, or lists or whatever. So it's a little bit more insightful than a regular podcast because I often get the idea that maybe we need some visuals here and there because we go kind of in depth. So stay tuned for episode 3. Yeah, it's a very good response so far. Even people in Dubai were like, when is the next podcast?
Yeah, you guys do a great job on that. It's very informative.
Yeah, it's
fun. That was a great one. I noticed that you did put the studies up. I figured that would take I didn't know if you had your editor tracking that down or you were doing that all yourself.
No,
oh shit, man, that's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, it takes what it takes, right? If you want to be the best podcaster or have a good podcast, you just got to put the extra effort down. There's so much competition on YouTube, so you just got to put the extra effort. I did a podcast with Wesley Vissers, and it took some time to edit. Also, we just did it impromptu. We had 2 cameras, so we angled it to each other, and we recorded for an hour. And you just do the back and forth, and yeah, it's a lot of extra effort, but that's that's how you get the views nowadays. Otherwise, people go to Netflix.
Yeah, I'm trying
the days of low budget, low effort YouTube are kind of gone. It's like everything
that's over now, man. You can't sit there anymore and just speak your mind.
Well, the top channels, I mean, they're putting big money into the stuff now. Big money. I mean, there's more money than legacy media now.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. Beast spends an average of like several million on each video. It's like an 8-minute video.
Yeah, I think he spent like 100 million on a couple of videos. Just unbelievable. Yeah. Most of that is legal fees for his assistant, but
oof, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was just a disaster waiting to happen, huh?
I sent a call.
That had been rumored for. I mean, because I have 4 kids, so I'm well versed in the beast. But that had been rumored for a while.
Yeah,
that's funny.
It seems like internet fame brings out the worst of people.
Yeah, him and Dr. Disrespect creeps.
Oh yeah, he's.
You know what? I think there probably is some correlation. The type of person who's obsessive and singularly focused enough to become hyper successful, like YouTube, like Mr. Beast, is they're not normal people. So it's not completely out of the realm of possibilities that they'll have some other abnormal issues, I guess.
As somebody who has an unhealthy obsession with attention, I think that if you're not prepared for receiving it, I can imagine how it bring out the worst in you.
Oh man, that's what I always think. When people want to be famous, I think that would be terrible. I want the money, but when you're, I think, and not the Friends is a bad example because everyone makes fun of that show now, and it is a pretty terrible show if you watch it. But they before the first episode, no one knew any of the cast members, and so the producer said, "Hey, here's some money." I don't know if they were in Vegas, wherever they were. They said, "Go out, have a good night. This is the last night you'll ever be able to walk out freely," and it was.
True.
Just the little bit of attention I've gotten from bodybuilding's been overwhelming sometimes. Like after I won my pro card, I had to stand around for 2 hours and take pictures with people. Yeah. It was like I could it was hard for me to even get a chance. And then the next morning I checked my DMs on Instagram and there were like 800 of them, something crazy like that. And then I got people saying, "Hey, did you see my DM?" I'm like, man, I can't go through all these.
That's the worst part, right? Is shit gets buried and you're just like, I'm sorry, man. Like I can't. There's no possible way.
No. Oh yeah, I've had my daughter's been helping me with my social media, and she even says, because those people that they want to be your social media manager, or they send you here's a short video.
God, I get so many of those every day.
Oh man, yeah, you get 100 a day, and it's like, how am I supposed to respond to my actual DMs? Because I got to scroll for 3 minutes before I find them, because I got all Patel over here asking why I haven't responded to the video he sent yesterday.
So what you can do is you sign up for a Facebook business account and you set an auto reply And you just put a little bit of information in there if you want to get in touch with me. Here's my link tree, for my sponsors and affiliates. I don't answer DMs. If you want my time, use the service or ask them on the Vigorous Q&A, which I'll have in about 30 minutes. Yeah, and then you just shuttle everybody there, and then everybody's like, oh shit, they're all putting super chats. So I got a super chat, and then you walk away with $300 at the end of the live stream.
I did that for a while. I had an auto response for a while, but my client signups dropped off. I mean, I need to kind of weigh the amount of time I spend responding personally, because when you respond personally and give a, of course. I have an open. So it's, what's the value of my time for that? And I've been thinking about going back to it, but yeah, because it's so chaotic now. I miss them anyways, and so I don't know what number I'm not responding to at all because I get so many. You
need a PA. Get a Filipino PA for $500 a month.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, you go to onlinejobs.ph, and then there you go. That's a nice super chat.
Thanks, Tommy.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So you go to onlinejobs.ph. You get a $500 Filipino PA that speaks good English, and let them go through your messages. It's one client sign up, right? So it's well worth it.
Smart.
Yeah, that is smart. You don't want to lose that personal touch.
Oh, so then I for me, I get like 300 DMs per day, and every day it's all direct questions. And all the guys that inquire about coaching, I don't reply because I don't coach anymore. And all the guys that inquire about consultations, they have a heart attack about my rates. So they'll find it by themselves. The guys that are really interested, they'll find it by themselves. My conversion is 0 if I would reply to all the DMs.
After my show, I booked 12 consultations in one day.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What's funny, you guys? I think we all get the same people buying consultations, and they just go in circles between all of us.
They do, because they'll know you guys' names.
Yeah. I had a consultation with this guy. Like, okay, why do you need me then?
Yep.
It's okay. It's money for everybody.
Sometimes they say things to us they don't realize it will talk. Like I have a client saying totally different things to Chase. And Chase and I were talking about it, and I called him out on it. I was like, I talk to him every day. I didn't know you were friends.
I get that too. Yeah, I get that too sometimes.
Mental giants.
Yeah.
I get the people that come to me and tell me that Victor Black said that he mentored me and trained me. I forgot to thank him after I won my pro card.
Yeah.
You look like you mentored the other guys on stage with you.
You know what? I don't know if it was him, but I have a client file for Victor Black from 9 years ago, 8 or 9 years ago. And when someone first asked me if I knew him, I was like, yeah, he's a client. I remember that guy. But I can't picture what he looked like anymore. It's been almost a decade. But I do have a client file. I should go through it and see if I can find any data points that would link him with the...
That's
I'll take credit for recommending Lisinopril to you. Years ago. To open up the capillaries and lose body fat at the lower back, he'll take credit for that remark from 12 years ago that you made.
Oh man, I just I did a consult with a guy. He's like Victor said he mentored you and taught you everything that you know. Is that true? And I'm like, I never have spoken to that guy once, not one time. Don't know him, never talked to him.
Well, I mean, Victor is at the start and the end of the human centipede, right?
Yeah.
He'll be there right at the end, waiting to take all the credit for all the guys that are in between. Yeah, regurgitating his shit.
Yeah, spewing shit and eating shit.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely. Did you guys see Dorian Yates? There was a new interview out with him this week where he kind of opened up a little more about his cycles, where he was talking about taking 150 milligrams of Anadrol per day.
Yeah, 1 gram of testosterone. He said it was 1 gram of testosterone, 500 mgs of nandrolone or Primo, depending on if he's in prep or not, and then
gram of EQ.
Gram of EQ, and then it was the Anadrol.
150 Anadrol.
And then he said he didn't talk much about growth hormone though. He said he could barely afford it sometimes, so he would just take it when he could or something like that.
It was so expensive back then, especially in the early 90s. It was, that's the thing people don't realize is, I mean, the GH physiques now with like the thicker skin, and it was guys use GH, but it was like 4 IUs was really hard to to come by. I mean, and I hate using IUs because that's not what it's measured in milligrams. But yeah, it was not something I remember even in the like 2005-ish. It was hard to find anything. Even generics would be like $900.
Yeah, I remember. I was just going to say that. I remember buying 100 IUs of generic in 2005. It was around 2005 because somebody was telling me that growth hormone was the secret, and I bought 100 IUs of it. And it was like $700-800.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh
yeah, it was. Yeah, and that was generics. I mean, like getting Serostin was just not even a possibility.
So I was like,
$22 a unit or something like that.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And so I didn't. So I think that's where like we see these screwy low doses that have just kind of come. Everybody talks about like running 2 units, and like, where did that come from? And it probably goes back to when the budgets were really tight.
Yeah. 5 days on, 2 days off. That's a budget thing. It has nothing to do with sensitivity, because you keep the same level of fullness comparatively to 7 days, same level of water retention, because it takes a couple days to dissipate anyway. But then instead of running 14 IUs over the week, 2 IUs per day, you run 10, and you get almost comparable effects regarding the fullness. But in reality, it's just a budget thing. But now with generics that are good, I mean, I'm running generics from India, produced there, and it's like $12 a day, but I'm running 10 units, and it detects as 10 units on blood work.
It's funny you say that, the 5 on 2 off, because that is something you don't see. There used to be so many protocols, the only on workout days, every other day, 2 days on, 1 day off. And it was all that. It was because, how can I space this out to use the fewest total milligrams per week, but maintain the maximal fullness? That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Or they would say I would only use it on prep. So, but you didn't have money to run it during the off season. Or was it you bought it like 6 months in advance. And then, have you heard these stories, right? You buy it when it's available, but you keep it for prep when you actually need it. Same with the pharmaceuticals that used to be very difficult to source, But now it's so easily accessible and everybody talks about it that the only real way to cycle through it is just your blood work tells you to fuck off. It's like, hey, stop, bro, stop. Give it a rest,
It's funny. Yeah, you say that when people talk about the cycles back then in the 90s, and I'll say no bodybuilder has ever limited their milligrams for any noble or moral reason. It was, it's always because of, difficulty to acquire, cost to acquire. But, because, you go back to like 98, the late 90s, you were getting like glass ampules from Turkey. You're getting those yellow top Deca Nandrolone from, I don't know, somewhere overseas also. There in Mexico, you had like Reformit V, T400, and even though I don't think T400 even came out until the early 2000s, but it was you would find some guy in Romania who would put ampules in a like a cassette tape casing, line them up, tape them on, and then like glue it to the back of a cheap painting and mail that or something. It was not like it is now.
The transformer.
Yeah.
And ship it over. Put them in Soundwave, and then you get it in the mail. Oh, that's nice.
I tell people how hard it used to be to get steroids. Like the kids today don't realize it's so easy today. It used to be hard. Yeah, it used to come from Costa Rica in like stuffed animals. Like you'd have to put, like stuff that they would get from their pharmacies.
I had one of my buddies talk about being sanitary. This was from the late 90s, early 2000s. He would fly down to Mexico and he'd fill up shampoo bottles.
Still being done in Australia.
There was a company called Stealth Labs, I think. They used to put it in ketchup packets.
Oh, wow.
It was called Stealth Labs.
I remember that.
And so you could buy these ketchup packets. It would be 1 milliliter, and you just pull it out.
In the ketchup packet just had a milliliter of fluid in it. There wasn't like an ampule.
Yeah.
How about this? Do you guys remember do you remember the spray paper? They used to do blotter paper, like acid, and dissolve the tablets. Dissolve the tablets in alcohol or water, and then spray it on. And so each square would be like 5 milligrams of Anadrol or 5 milligrams of D-bol or whatever it was. That was the thing too.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
those are probably the first sublingual administration. That would probably be the best way to do it. Just put it on your tongue and get your 10 milligrams of D-Anabol in that way.
I had John Paul Fuchs, JP Fuchs, on last fall and interviewed him, and he was talking about how like basically they just took whatever you could get. He said there was these like traveling salesmen from Romania that would roll through his gym like every 3 or 4 months. He said they'd show up with their suitcase full of shit and land in the locker room and just open it up, and guys would line up and just buy whatever they had.
Mm-hmm.
So
and the doses were crazy too. Like Larabolin was like I think it was Boldenone, and I can't even remember now, but it came in 50 milliliter vials. It was 50 milligrams per milliliter.
Yeah,
so you'd have to pin like 10 cc's of that stuff to get anything out of it.
Yeah, remember the Stanozol used to come in 2.5 milligram tablets.
Yeah,
that's right. For dogs, you would get it. It was like for dogs. It was like a Mexican. And so there are these little yellow tablets, and you'd have to take like 20 of them.
Yeah, I think Primabal and acetate 20 milligram tablets was a thing.
Yeah.
Those probably
are still available in.
I remember that was
Japan.
one of my first cycles, and that was one of my favorite cycles. Mm-hmm. Man, I think I had to take a lot, but I don't. It was 20 years ago.
Yeah, stuff was way different back then. Like it was, you couldn't. I mean, that's probably why some of the weirds, like I remember doing a Deca only cycle. The only reason I did the Deca only cycle is because it's the only thing I could find.
That's exactly why people used to do it. And that's where the myth of Deca came from, is because, like Justin, like you said, people would just take whatever they could get. You get vials of Nandrolone and you just take it. And then
I guess I got lucky on my first cycle. I found the source locally. You were only at Pharmaceutical. So I used Pharmaceutical test. A Pharmaceutical injectable Winstrol, and I think some underground lab Reminiscing, but everything else he had was Pharmaceutical. So I got away with 1 ampule a week in my first cycle, and then I did 1 ampule of injectable Zambons, the Winstrol suspension per day. That was an experience. Yeah.
That is one thing. There was a lot more pharmaceutical stuff. I remember that and veterinarian stuff. Like Justin talking about those big 50 cc veterinarian things of
the quality vet. Yeah, the quality vet had 50 cc vials.
Yeah, I remember those. Those were crazy. And I used to get the Bayer Testavirons, the amps for tests.
Yeah, that's the one I was trying to think of. Testaviron. Yeah.
Was that when
I got those at home?
I still have tons of those from Thailand.
When Shearing owned it, it had propionate in it.
Yeah.
When Paul used to use it, it probably had the propionate in it too. And then when Bayer took over,
I didn't even realize when you said that it had propionate in it. But there's Testaviron. Yeah, Testaviron Depot is enanthate, and Testaviron is propionate.
Yeah,
from what
because they didn't know. The thought process back then was that enanthate was slow releasing. So the propionate hit first, and they realized that they both release at the same time. Enanthate just holds longer. Yeah. So then we're like, this is a totally pointless drug because it was like spiking people's blood levels and then dropping. It was like Sustanon.
Yeah,
right.
Garbage.
Yeah, Sustanon with the 18 gauge red eject.
Oh man,
where's the needle?
Remember the Organon Sustanons from Africa, or you get them from India or Africa?
They weren't Sustanon though. What was the name of it? It was something else. Anon. I think so. Man, I might be remembering this wrong.
Remember they had Omnidrin from
a company.
Omnidrin.
Omnidrin was a different. Omnidrin was made by a different company.
Yeah, but it was another test blend. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's those pink British Dragon D balls.
The D ball, they only the 5 milligrams. Yeah, that's all that they used to have.
Yeah. I remember the 2005 Natty. It wasn't the entire bodybuilding world was natural, unplanned for a couple months in the summer of around 2005 because British Dragon went bunk, and before they bailed out, and so everyone prepping for junior nationals and USA's that year, if they were relying on BD, they got screwed. If you go look back, there's a lot of guys who were very, very not at their peak for like one show.
I talked about that on all your podcasts. So when BD when they went defunct, or the guy got arrested.
Got arrested in Thailand.
International Pharmaceuticals started slapping BD labels on their stuff. But it was still good. So and everybody knew that the original BD went defunct and that this other company was just using British Dragon labels, but it was still good. So if you had BD stuff, whether it was the old stuff or the new stuff, it was still always good. So that's what I sold. I sold the new BD, the International Pharmaceuticals BD.
Yeah. Well, IP was they were so fake. That was funny because they were fakes of a generic. Everyone, and I remember there was a period of time where they were all fake, and the way people would try to convince you that it was still real is they'd say the tablets are so packly dense you can't just swallow them, you have to chew them or the stuff won't get in your system. And it's like, just trying to, because if you can just drag a guy off for one more cycle, if he thinks, well, geez, this cycle didn't work because I swallowed the pills instead of chewing them, I'll make one more purchase. You don't need profit before everyone bails on you.
I remember that they called them micro tabs. They had these really tightly packed tabs.
Yeah.
I remember some of the crappy orals back in the day. You just poop them back out; they wouldn't even digest.
Yeah,
pucks.
You'd see them floating in the toilet. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
for the price we used to pay too. I used to pay $6 for a pill of Anadrol for one pill.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. I remember
the pink hexagon D-ball were really, really faked. And I remember everyone knew the millimeter size of the legit ones. And so you'd get like a little ruler out and line them up. And you could see there'd be, a couple of the right line and then a bunch the wrong size. But God damn it. Got the fake.
I think it used to be really hard. None of these younger kids don't understand how hard it used to be.
Now it's like fucking Amazon.
I could call my pharmacy tomorrow and have 100 of those Thai pinkies delivered tomorrow. Or 1,000, sorry.
Thai pinks. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
1,000, they're still produced. Still being produced. 1,000.
Really good.
Fucking
those were like that was like, because it was hard to find stuff and those worked. And so that was like everyone loved those.
Everyone loved
the frat boy the frat boy cycle.
Yeah, some of my classmates used to use that stuff from their parents. They would just grab into the jar and run it. Those were the first bodybuilders I got exposed to. Classmates, 15, 16 years old, doing D-ball only cycles. They were gigantic at that time. I had maybe 80 kilos, so that's sub 200 pounds. But when you're 14 years old, that's very big.
Oh yeah.
When I was in college, that's what all the jocks took with the pink D-balls. Everybody had those. Yeah. Everybody gets upset when I talk trash about D-ball. They get so mad when I say it's
There's so many alternatives. There's so many alternatives. Like, unless you do powerlifting and you like the fluff and the bloat and the padding. But, if you have access to Anavar, which most people have now, and they say, it's faked, that you're just regurgitating bullshit. Your sources are shit. Yeah. Just look a little bit harder. If you have access to real Anavar, you run 10 to 25 milligrams a day. You have phenomenal.
That's actually a pet peeve of mine when people will say, I just saw someone say 99.9% of Primabalin is fake. And I want to be like, some of it is fake, but you guys have no idea what world you're playing in now. Yeah. It used to be 99% fake. Yeah. Now the likelihood of getting real stuff is really, really high.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct, Justin. These things, and like all of you are correct. Like these antiquated notions and this dogma from decades ago just kind of comes to today. But it's so much easier to get quality stuff today that it's not faked like it used to be. So when people talk about Primabolin always being fake or Anavar being faked, it's like so easy to get real Anavar now. There's no reason to fake it.
Yeah, it's cheaper. Well, because back then it was so expensive. The fakes they'd have real holograms on the packaging. Yeah, right. They put a lot of money into the fakes. Where now that's way more expensive than just getting the real raw powder from China. So why fake it anymore?
You're absolutely correct. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Reform it B. Yeah. Yeah, the little 4 square. There was like a cattle, a dog, a horse, and I don't remember what the fourth animal was on the bottle.
Oh yeah, okay. They had blue hearts for a while. 10 milligram blue hearts.
Yeah,
you guys remember those?
Yeah,
still have those. Still have those in the pharmacy.
Those were good too. I love those.
I should buy just a bottle for memorabilia's sake and then just wave it around the podcast. Like, look, you remember this one? Still in stock.
Like collecting baseball cards.
Yeah. Well, actually, I got approached by a guy that collected steroid memorabilia because I always talk about pharmaceutical. No, and he was willing to offer, like, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? And I didn't have any of it. And all the stuff that I had, he already had in stock. But he was offering like $500. He was looking for Esicline and Parabolan and all that stuff.
What a hobby.
Yeah, I get it, though. I get it. I would love to have like a little display cabinet with like the history of pharmaceuticals, and you just have like a little box.
No one else
just one
is going to do
one ampule or one tablet left just for a rainy day when the zombie apocalypse hits. You have those real Anadrol 50s. or 1 ampule of parabolan, and you're like, fuck, well, it's the end of the world. Here we go. Boom. 75 milligrams. Let's do it. You're good for 2 weeks.
Yeah, your lower back will be so pumped. Be trying to run away from the zombies.
But they can't eat you because you're so dense. Also. All their teeth would fall out.
A few years ago, Dave Palumbo was cleaning out a storage unit or something and found some Essaclean. He posted it. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
It's so funny because there's like one picture of parabolan online, right, with the medical insert, but only the front page. And I want to get the back page so bad because I'm sure there's some references in there. Like I try to look for all the scientific evidence, and I talked about this with Kurt. I looked for all the medical literature about trenbolone for humans, and I've found one citation. One. And nowhere else you can find this. The full publication you can't find, and I know Kurt looked a little bit.
Merck has them. They're not what you think. They're not going to apply to you. They're like in pregnant women.
That's interesting to read.
They're really horrible.
Which is more evidence that it antagonizes the progesterone receptor because of what happened with those studies, right, Kurt?
Yeah.
Well, they were giving it to women that I just think it was, you just can't give it to pregnant women.
Yeah, right.
It would look like the melamine babies.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it seems like you wouldn't need a study for that, but I guess
that was medicine in the 1950s.
The
Angelo ones too, like that. Your OBGYN was giving it to you.
That's crazy. They were giving Tren to pregnant women in clinical trials back then.
Those are the good old days, man. I learned shit. I wish
really learned shit. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I hope they got a nice lawsuit out of that. But when you read the studies on Turinabol, you see all those women that took Turinabol for the
I just sent it to Colton.
So that
what was the reasoning for taking Turinabol as a female? Like in the study,
they all competed. It was labeled as vitamins. They didn't even know. Half the athletes didn't know they were getting Turinabol under the state doping plan.
Government just gave them, here, take these supplements, and it was Turinabol. It was just a shit ton of Turinabol.
We still do it now in the military.
Yeah.
That's like when you're a kid and they tell you that you're going to get offered free drugs when you grow up. It actually came true to them. I never got any free drugs.
What they don't tell you is you only get free drugs offered to you if you're pretty.
Yeah, true.
That's why.
True.
I never got any free drugs offered.
No, I did not either. Sometimes they wouldn't even let me pay for them. They was like, "Get away."
Was it the mesh shirt?
Put some clothes on. Come back in an hour.
That mesh shirt is a drug.
In the right crowd, you might have gotten all the drugs you wanted.
Yeah, you're in the wrong club. Yeah, you're in the wrong club with that shirt.
You gotta make that left turn at Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is a quality family entertainment podcast here, people.
There you go.
Sure.
The high quality entertainment we bring here at Anabolic Bodybuilding. Yeah, I remember all that crazy stuff, man. It's funny. Steve has the best shirts.
Yeah. I wore this in Dubai, and then everybody recognized me in Dubai Mall. You're Vigorous Steve. I said, relax. Take a chill pill. Let's take a picture. So funny.
Were you famous over there? People recognize you?
Not as bad as in the US. US is way worse. In Dubai, I think in Dubai, all those Arab guys, all the people that move there, they follow the Arab channels. But the Arab channels that follow me, that digest the knowledge downwards from all of us here, basically, they recognize us, obviously. But it wasn't as bad. Me and Dean were able to have a normal workout, and maybe 3, 4, 5 people recognized us. And then one day in Dubai Mall, I got about 7 people, which is okay. You know, it's over the entire day. So it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's weird now. I get people recognizing me in public places. Like I was at the grocery store this morning. I heard somebody yell my name.
Big Bull.
Big Bull. I only ever get recognized when I'm alone. I want to be with my kids and be walking through the airport and have someone. But like I never eat at a restaurant by myself. One time I went to a Mexican restaurant, sat down by myself, and someone came over and wanted to get a picture with me. And I was like, God, if my kids were here, they would finally know.
Yeah, it's a recognition in front of like I'm well respected.
Yeah,
you guys better listen to me also.
My kind of a big
daughter
deal.
was mortified. We were at Costco, and I saw this guy looking at me. She's like, Dad, this guy's staring at us really weird. Like, what's going on here? And he keeps pointing at you. And then this guy, he walks up and he's like, hey, can my son and I take a picture with you? My daughter's just got her head hanging down. She wouldn't even she was like turned away. It's just like so weird and awkward for her. She's like, is this for real?
How old is she?
It's funny.
She's like 15.
She'll be almost
right?
17.
Okay. Yeah, that's if she was like 12, you'd be awesome. You missed it by like a couple of years.
Yeah.
17 is like, oh God, Dad. 12 is like, oh my God, Dad.
Well, I talked about this on Steve's podcast. I went to my son's concert, high school band or middle school band's concert. Sorry, and I saw all these kids pointing at me, and they're like, hey, there's Clark's dad. He's the guy with the Steroid podcast on YouTube. These 13-year-olds. I'm like, oh my God. And I was like trying to like extract myself from the conversation because there was parents everywhere.
Technically, they're performance enhancing drugs.
Yeah. And I do them under medical supervision of my coach. It was a doctor.
Like, hey, how much do you bench?
all of the weights.
Yeah, it makes, no matter what you say, people. I used to play with that, and I'd be like, I'm like 185, and people would be like, whoa. It doesn't matter what you say, they get the same response. They don't even listen. How much you bench? 1,300 pounds. Whoa.
Well, what happened at dinner last night, Colin?
Yeah, we thought we'd get out of the restaurant, but the guy who's the bartender's like, hey, before you go, I gotta ask, how much do you bench?
Or you always get the older guys coming up to you being like, I used to look like you one day. Apparently back in the 50s there was a ton of really jacked dudes.
I had a good I was at my biggest. I was about 300 pounds. I was working as an echocardiographer, and this is like 2007ish. By far my biggest. I'm still in shape at 300 pounds. I go and do an echo on a lady, and she starts telling me about her son, and she's like, you look like my son. Think he might be a little bit bigger. And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, wow. It was like, how old is he? She goes, 16. I was like, oh wow. He's big. He plays sports. And I asked her, he weighed 135 pounds. I was like, lady, I'm 300 pounds. And she goes, well, he's got that sinewy muscle. I was like,
you should have sit on her chest. Said, do you think your son weighs like this? If you're doing this, I just sit on her as well. So, do you think your son weighs as much as I do? Do you think you could carry me off his chest?
You gotta love that. That shows the eyes of a mother, though, because she probably she probably did view her son as like this.
He's Hercules in her eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, I always love the other ones too. Like I get guys that'll argue with me about stuff like I know pros, and I'm like, oh yeah, you do. How many of them?
This happened to me one time, and it was true. I met Carlos Jr., the IFB pro.
Yeah,
his dad. I met him in the bathroom. We were talking a little bit and walking back to the venue. So yeah, my son is also into bodybuilding. He's very big. It's like, okay, cool. And then I met him later with his son. And it was like he was indeed very, very big.
Who was it we were talking to at the Arnold we saw in the parking lot? I think it was Breon's dad, wasn't it? Colin? I don't remember. The guy was like,
it was Breon's dad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was like, my son just, he's a pro bodybuilder. And I'm like, oh yeah, really?
Yeah, what's your son's name?
Yeah, he was out there competing today. I'm like, oh shit, okay, yeah, all right.
Fair enough.
For one time, it was real.
Yeah, it does happen. I mean, Chase is also a second generation bodybuilder, right? His parents were bodybuilders. Should bring his parents to the booth. It's going to be a lot of fun.
My parents don't even know what bodybuilding is. My dad. I remember the first time I shaved down, and my dad was like questioning my sexual preferences. Like, what are you doing? What was that about?
My wife's family still do this joke because they went to, I think, the Mr. Michigan or something I did, and they had never obviously seen bodybuilding. And everyone talks about like Christmas tree lower back. and someone must have been saying that in the audience. Show him the Christmas tree. Show him the Christmas tree. And so now, anytime I see my brother-in-law, he's like, "Show him the tree. Show him the tree."
Oh no,
That's hilarious.
Oh man,
should no one understand. Another one's grainy. Like, you know how we say grainy a lot. When I say that to normal people, and I'm like, I'm not even trying to. It's just how I speak. They're like, "What the fuck are you talking about? What is grainy in a person?" You know. Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get it.
Is he covered in sand?
Yeah.
Back knee, that's what it is.
Oh yeah, people are fucking crazy, man. It's it's wild though. But this whole post show thing's been really weird, man. Like it's just people walking up to me at the gym, talking to me and stuff. I don't think I've gotten a proper workout in since we've gotten
Enjoy
back,
it, man.
Yeah,
I'm
enjoy
sure
it.
I'm sure in Mexico people will start to recognize you too. I mean, it's worldwide, right? I mean, I travel all over the world, and it's everywhere. There's no escape. But so you just got to embrace it. And when somebody looks at you weird, I'm like, "Hey, what's up? Just come over, say hi, let's take a picture, let's introduce." Because sometimes they're just shy or they're not sure if it's really you. I mean, if you wear the same clothes every fucking time, then it's a dead giveaway, obviously. But we do look a little bit different in real life. That's what you got to remember, right? You have this camera angles, one angle, and then they see it in real life. Like, is that Paul? Is that Steve?
Some people look
The
a
side
lot
profile's
different.
totally different.
Yeah, he's
Did I
way
tell you
bigger
guys
than he
ab-
looks on YouTube. This
Did
kind
I
of
tell you
stuff.
guys about when I got pulled aside by the TSA agents?
No.
I think
And
he's
I-
good, yeah, but good.
Yeah, I thought I was like going to get a cavity search, and it was the one of the dudes recognized me from the YouTube channel. And they pulled me aside to the side room and wanted to get pictures with me.
Oh man,
That's really funny. Cavity search.
dude, I
Oh my
appreciate it, but that was not the time to just pull. Give me a warning.
Man, I don't know what it is when I go through those machines at the airport. I got to fly today. Every fucking time I go through that machine, I set it off. The dude was telling me like
They say because it's looking for bulges. I guess that I asked one time. That's what they're looking for. Like they see the contour of your body, and so it looks like if there's any kind of abnormal
Yeah,
shape.
but why would it flag Paul though if it's looking?
Well, I'm surprised it would flag his crotch, but anywhere else he's got the muscles. But that's what they said. They said so muscular people like the thing just isn't used to the shape of a muscular body, and so it isn't always going to trigger, but it might be enough change of shape from what it's expecting to trigger something.
every damn time they pull me aside.
all the heavy metals from the
Every
underground
time I
labs
got
that you've
pulled,
been-
probably all the oil.
Yeah, no,
well, flying out to Wyoming just this last week, I was wearing shorts and my calf triggered the thing. And they made me stand aside, and the guy came and like felt my calf. I'm like, I'm not wearing a skin suit. My calf is visible. I'm wearing shorts.
Yeah, it's also like in spots that you sweat. So like
Oh,
if
is
my
it?
back's sweaty, it'll light up all red all over my back, and they'll have.
So it's not just me.
Yeah, I get it too all the time.
Yeah, I asked them.
Doesn't
one time,
happen
they
to me,
said,
man.
like,
I'm
they
not
said
big enough.
bodybuilders getting flagged. It hits all the time for them.
Nah, you're just not on enough Tren. That's it.
Yeah, I know. I'm joining the Tren train soon.
You
Don't
gotta
worry.
be
I got to prep.
sweating
I got to
constantly.
prep for the Olympia. I got to meet at 230, right, Chase? That's the plan. Meet at 230 pounds. Shred it.
Yeah.
Shred it. Fuck, you look lean, dude.
A little bit.
Do
Yeah, your
Yeah.
face is leaned out.
Face has got some lines in it.
Couldn't eat any food after Greg Doucette was talking shit, right?
I mean, it's been a good 10 weeks where I haven't really been eating a whole lot. So
No, I know. I've been following along. You look great, man. Nice work.
How much are you down?
I mean, about 40, 45 pounds. Yeah.
Holy shit! I didn't realize you dropped that much, man.
Yeah, I'm right around 240 right now. Yeah.
You can pull a vacuum again now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I've
take
been-
a picture of that and then tag people who were doubting the off
I have
season.
been. Yeah. No, it's funny. They're like,
Tell these
fuck.
people to shut up. Yeah. Because
So,
I mean, I saw some pictures and I'm like, yes, exactly. All these people were talking shit. Oh, his waist is getting too big. No, that's just food. It's not growth hormone. It's just food.
no, yeah, it's funny. I'm out here in California. I just went on Nile's podcast.
All right.
Oh, awesome, man.
When he opened up the door, he was like,
Yeah.
he was like, "Whoa, have you been dieting? What the hell?" Like he was like, "I didn't think you look like this. What the heck?"
Did he took you to the side door instead of the front door? Because I was waiting at the front door at his condominium complex, and he was like screaming from the other side. I'm like, "Oh, you got to go through here."
Nah, somebody went in, so I like walked in and went straight to his apartment door. And
All right.
in his door, he was like, "Whoa, what the hell?"
Yeah.
Podcast you
it was
went on?
cool. It was pretty cool.
Now Nayga is a men's physique guy, or he's a classic physique, or
he's men's
super
physique,
nice
but
guy.
he's trying to do he's trying to get into classic. So
it's been a long time follower and just a part of the industry. He's an IFBB pro, super nice guy. Trains at Zoo Culture. Did you go to Zoo Culture or only Golds?
no, I've been going to Golds. Yeah, it's quite a drive to get to Zoo Culture. So it was like
Right around the corner from Nyle.
Yeah, it was like 40 minutes to get to Niles. So we're in Santa Monica hanging out, just like chilling on the beach and eating a bunch of food. So
there you go, enjoy, man.
Yeah. Taking the week off, getting a diet break, and then we'll suck down some more as soon as I get back home. So,
well, with all this losing weight, man, you need to get on stage, go do a show.
I got my plan is like I'm gonna push down to like 230 because I dropped growth hormone and insulin and all that. I'm like sucking down to 230. Then I'm gonna bring growth hormone, insulin, and food back in and be nice and lean and fill everything out. And maybe push up. Yeah, push up to maybe like 250, and then keep the growth hormone in and cut back down to like 240 or something, 230 maybe, and see kind of what I'm.
Or it's going to be very lean then. It's going to be very lean. Yeah.
How are the legs doing? Is it back to close to 100% or no?
Just this last week, I was able to do squat movements again, and they felt good. So finally, I'm able. I'm planning on doing legs today, actually. So finally, hopefully I can start getting some size on those and even things out. And if I can even stuff out, then I'll definitely start looking at a show. So
I remember being absolutely terrified the first time I did a squatting movement or something heavy again after my ACL tear.
Yeah, just last week, I things were feeling really good, and so I got under the leg press, and everything felt normal. I was like, "What the hell?" Like it was just like a 1 week different. I don't know what happened. Like the water came out of my knees or something, and the inflammation came out, and everything feels good now. So
just needed to lose some weight, fat boy.
I think the part of it is I dropped a bunch of weight and like some inflammation and all this shit came out of me. And
Steve, don't you have your live you got to get on right now?
Oh shit! Yeah, I gotta go. I'm having too much fun with the boys. It's been such a long time. Those guys can wait. No, but I do gotta go. This was great, guys.
Good one, Steve.
Check in with you guys soon.
See you later.
Take care,
man.
Ciao.
All right, let's grab some questions. I gotta cut this one a little short today. I got a flight to catch.
Oh yeah.
See, Ilya Milos, cruising on 150 test E per week, going on holiday for 3 weeks. Should I pin more before I travel or switch to test undecanate? How would you dose it?
Pin it all.
I would just bring it with me. I don't
Yeah,
know
where are you traveling to?
So
It's not hard. It's not. Put it in your checked luggage. It'll get through every time.
Everyone who's so concerned about traveling with shit, I have gone all over the world: Japan, Korea, Thailand, Albania, Bosnia, Serbia, Croatia, and with everything, no issues ever.
The thing to remember with the TSA is they're looking for bombs, not drugs. They're not the DEA.
Yeah.
I mean, they really. It's not like, I mean, they have drug dogs walking, through the airport, but they're looking for cocaine and things like that. They
looking for bombs.
Yeah, I mean, think of the pros that come from overseas, and have to do weeks of contest or weeks of prep or the European Grand Prix or, put it in your checked luggage. It never gets caught.
Yeah. My luck would be I'd end up in some third world prison.
Yeah.
But speaking of, I've had it all before you go somewhere. I didn't want to take anything with it. I didn't want to bring any of my stuff. So I'm on 3 grams of test and 1200 EQ. So I pinned it all in 2 days on Monday so that I wouldn't have to pin it at all the rest of the week. So my next shot's Monday.
I have low-grade anxiety as it is. I don't need that.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like packing it. And
what was it? I had a guy on podcast that used to work with John Meadows, and he said that John, I think, was traveling to Australia, and he remembers John taking a whole bottle of EQ.
Yeah, I heard that story. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Or like you could just get a prescription for your testosterone, so then you can take it wherever you want to. So just come to me and get a
I put it in ketchup packets.
Yeah, or Stealth Labs. Just go to Stealth Labs.
That's funny.
That's so
Josh,
awesome, man.
Josh just asked, are there any muscles that I don't pin? I don't pin calves or forearms, that's for sure. But I mean, basically lately, all I've been pinning is quads, glutes, and ventral glute, and that's it. Like each one will take three mils, no problem. And so that's
you put 3 in your ventral.
Yeah. So I mean, that's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 mils in a week. You know, easy. And then if I wanted to do delts, I could do delts. I could do rear delts. I could do lats. You know, you could take it all the way up to 30 mils a week pretty easily.
You know what used to be able to handle a lot for me was the traps. Like I could do a trap.
Do not take
I've
Australia.
taken as far as doing traps.
That's good advice.
Do not take anything to Australia.
I rotate. I do quads, delts, triceps, and glutes. Glutes give me a lot of problem, man.
Yeah, I can't do them.
I could never do glutes.
The glute spot, that's the only area that I feel like I probably have like some deep, like, you know, probably like a cyst or something in there, because every once in a while I'll shoot on one side and it'll just kind of like swell up a little more, but all the other spots are fine. So I kind of try to avoid glutes as much as I can, but yeah, it's not bad.
All right, next question. Amy, I feel like we haven't given you any time today.
That's all right. I'm 3 weeks out. I'm good just to chill.
You look great. You look great.
Yeah, you look lean. I can see the face now, the neck and everything. You look super lean.
Yeah, the diet face is real. I feel like I can see the muscles in my like jaw when I chew.
I can feel the low energy. I know, like when I'm getting lean, when I can see striations in my jaw. I still kind of can.
Yeah,
I get like if I squeeze, I can see the muscles in my jaw.
Yeah,
jaw muscles.
Man, I was doing the podcast with Nyle yesterday, and I was sitting there, and he was asking me like talking about side effects of Tren and stuff, and I was telling him like the worst side effect for me that I get randomly is hypoglycemia. And while we were talking about it, I went hypoglycemic, sitting there talking about it, and just started dripping sweat. And I just kept talking through it and kept like speaking. And then he was like, "I gotta go pee." And so like he turned off the cameras and was like, "Holy fuck, I'm like soaking wet."
Oh my gosh!
It was like people are gonna be watching that and be like, "What's wrong with this dude? He's just like drenched in sweat right now."
Don't you get really foggy too? Like your brain gets foggy when that happens. It's hard to talk.
I knew as soon as it was happening. I was sitting there. I was like, I already knew all the words that I was gonna say, but in my head, I was like, "Fuck, this sucks."
Yeah.
I was talking to Kurt the other day. I did my low day, and I took just a little bit of metformin in the morning. I took 500 milligrams of metformin, and like between my meals, my blood sugar was getting down into the 50s. I'm like, oh fuck! I guess I can't do this.
Hey guys, I have to head out.
All right, Justin.
See you, Justin.
Hi, Justin.
See you, Justin.
All right, what's up next?
I hope he has a good time at the parade.
Yeah.
The headband was awesome.
He looks awesome today.
Looks very prideful.
Such a character.
That's my coach, ladies and gentlemen.
He just takes everything so seriously all the time.
Proud to represent Team Troponin.
All right.
What do we got next here?
We're doing questions.
Yes.
Dead air. Let's see. Mel wants to know what's the difference between a bad shot and an actual infection. What's the difference?
Kurt, you want to handle that one?
Wise.
It's hot.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different things that go wrong. It could be hematoma, could be an abscess. If it's an abscess, generally is a smaller capsule, and it'll be They both really, really hurt. Usually hematoma, you'll see bruising. An abscess, a lot of times you go to fever. It's smaller. You draw. Anytime you have a bad shot, I would take a Sharpie and draw a circle around the red area and then watch it. If it goes outside that area, it's time to see a doctor. You don't want to squeeze or pop anything on your own, ideally.
I made that mistake.
Because you could push it back inside. And don't medicate yourself. I would go to a doctor because you generally might need more than an antibiotic. You would know in a couple days if it's getting worse. A hematoma, if it's really, I've had a really bad one, it'll hold a ton of fluid. Abscess usually kind of works its way kind of to the surface like a gigantic pimple in most of the cases, unless it's under the muscle. But either way, I would have a doctor look at it. So it's not worth, you can go septic if it gets bad enough.
Yeah, I would chime in on that and just say that infection is not going to resolve in any way. It's only going to progress. So tracking it, making sure that you are tracing around the edges of anything, and also monitoring other symptoms. I mean, typically, if you do have an infection, you're going to have general feelings of unwellness that accompany it, maybe even have a fever, rapid heart rate, other things that could accompany those symptoms as well. It's so funny though. I mean, working in, surgery, people see anything that's red. They're like, oh my gosh, this is an infection. I'm like, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
But you don't know until you know.
Right. So that was one thing I was thinking was like, I didn't think I had like infections when these happened. Like I haven't had any issues in years, but it was like, I remember the first time that I pinned my quads, and I pinned both of them in the same day. Both of them, like this was like one of the first times I pinned quads. Both got red, extremely swollen. I didn't feel sick, but I was just like, holy crap, what is happening here? And like I was walking with like stiff legs and stuff, and it lasted for like a week, and then it faded away. And I was like, I assumed it was an infection, but I was like, I thought an infection would just like keep getting worse and whatever, but it faded and everything's fine. But it was just like, I wonder what happens when
probably just a hematoma.
Like that. Yeah.
My hematoma
a little bit of cellulitis.
Yeah, my
cellulitis, maybe that. Yeah,
I'd have surgery on mine, and I have permanent chunks missing out of the side of my ass now from it.
I've had one abscess in 20 some years of doing this, and they initially gave me the wrong antibiotic, wrong spectrum, and it turned out to be MRSA. It was really bad.
Well, that's why I said that, because I don't want to give people drug recommendations because I don't want them. I hate when people medicate themselves. Yeah. There's other drugs that need to be given beside the antibiotic, because you're guessing as to if it's gram negative or gram positive, and unless you test it, you have no way of knowing that.
Yeah, they have to do a biopsy. And
it's just not worth managing it on your own. I would just go see someone. Doctors don't. 99% of doctors don't give a shit if you do steroids or not.
No, everybody. It seems people
are going to help you. They're not going to yell at you.
Terrified to go get it checked. Just go get it checked, get it taken care of, and yeah, because if you like, they told me if I'd waited maybe another day or two, I could have been septic.
I mean, if they're not turning away the people who show up with shampoo bottles up their butts, like I think they'll treat your fucking abscess because you put a dirty needle in yourself by accident.
I get people that are all the time worried about it being on their medical record. And
no, just their medical record. Like when you get a new job, we check your medical record. Like, what's he been up to?
Yeah, that's against the law. It's protected.
You're not going to go tell people what you do. My doctor, all my doctors
don't care.
What I take. No one gives a shit.
All right, what do we got next here?
Steve H. I want to be careful of my liver. What super supplement should I try that is
any injectable outside Winstrol?
Yeah.
Or any 17 alpha alkylated thing that was turned into an injectable, I wouldn't use. Don't use injectable Anadrol. Don't use injectable D-ball. If you stick to things that are methylated, they're not liver toxic at all. Tremblone's not liver toxic. EQ's not liver toxic.
Cool.
I mean, the liver's pretty damn resilient too.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you've got prior liver issues and you're worried about it, then
that's not true. Injectable Tren. Well, there's only injectable Tren. You're not taking it orally, and it doesn't. There are case studies to show guys that went into the ER and they were on 8 different drugs, and the doctor doesn't know their history, and they had liver values that were skewed. If you see ALT and AST go up, that's not necessarily from Tren.
I will say the DHB. There's one.
Yeah. Okay. So DHB is the DHT is toxic. DHT is not something.
DHB.
Glycol or ethyl oleate to be used. It's not a liquid at room temperature, so it has to be. They use crazy solvents in it.
The amount of people I still have ask me about that and if they can use it is crazy. I'm like, why would you want to?
So DHB is used as an intermediate to make Primobolan from equipoise. So it's not. It's literally the junk that's thrown out in the lab. If some crazy kid saw it sitting in a vial and was like, "I'm going to inject that."
Pretty much all of us.
All right, let's get one more in, and then I got to wrap up.
We'll get a question, but we got a comment first from
Chase is looking pretty.
Bro, don't be fat.
I laughed too hard, my camera fell down. I've been dealing with this broken tripod for like fucking months. Like I can fix the problem.
I think he
for
was
$20.
Methyl Tren.
Yes, that's not methyl. That's methyltrianolone is not the same as trenbolone.
No.
So when you, I don't want to get into organic chemistry. When you change the carbon 17, you change the whole drug. Otherwise, equipoise and D-ball will be the same drug. They're not related, and you should not be taking methyltrianolone. I know of people that claim that they've taken it. I would really question how pure it is, because 1 milligram is technically toxic in a human. And when we've given it, I've given it to rats before, and they die. At an equated dose to that, I wouldn't touch that shit.
I'm going to listen to the guy who's giving it to rats himself.
And that's the thing with Tremblant. I'm
going to listen to what he has to say personally.
I've had more firsthand experience of Trenbolone in a laboratory setting than probably anyone in the United States. So if I say something about Tren, it's most likely true.
There you go.
All right, I guess we should probably wrap up.
I'm sorry. I'm enjoying a crisp DC. Yeah,
Diet Coke.
It's my jam.
Big 7-Up enjoyer. Honestly,
Zero. It's good. I like Sprite.
I'm just going with water.
Zero sugar Sprite too.
Smart water, expensive water that probably comes from a tap.
Yeah, some fucking.
I mean, it all comes from somewhere.
Some marketing genius said, "Let's just call this water smart. We'll sell it to rich people."
Righteous water.
It's got what plants crave.
Brondo. All right, folks, that's all we got for you. Thank you for watching another
Thanks, everyone.
Crazy and wild episode
See y'all later.
of Anabolic
See everybody.
Bodybuilding Live. Take care.